Hi everyone, Armine Bazikyan here from Bazikyan Law Group. I'm a wills and trusts attorney here in Los Angeles, and this month I wanted to talk to all of the medical professionals out there, the physicians, the pharmacists, the dentists, the optometrists, all of you out there that are licensed by one of the boards in California. This video is specifically intended for you. I want to make sure that I'm conveying 3 tips and tricks for asset protection purposes that you can utilize today. So, as a licensed physician or an individual within the medical community, you have very specialized estate planning needs. You know, your trust as a doctor will look very different from my trust as an attorney, and it'll look very different from and our trust will look different from someone who's an engineer or just a W-2 worker. So it really does require some specialized estate planning. So if you are a license holder, be very, very cautious and careful about how your estate plan is comprised. With this video, I just want to throw out 3 tips that you can utilize to protect yourselves. I know that for a lot of physicians, your industry is fraught with liability and claims. You might have some malpractice claims, you might have employee claims, you might have potential claims arising out of actions from a partner or a person that's also involved in your business. So we want to make sure that you safeguard the assets that you've acquired and we pass it on to the next generation in your estate plan. So the number 1 tip I have for you is make sure that you are purchasing as much insurance as an insurance company will actually sell you. So on your homeowner's insurance, maximize your liability coverage. Do the same on your auto. Buy umbrella or excess liability insurance if you can and get the most that anyone will sell you. Make sure that your general liability insurance is intact and you have a good policy in place with good limits, because these insurance policies are, believe it or not, going to be your first soldiers in line of defense. They're going to be the first thing, the first item that the claim will attach to, and the first line item that will actually defend you in the scenario that we're discussing. So make sure that you've upped all your liability coverages. The second thing you can do is sit down with an attorney and talk about some state exemptions that might be available to you. So California has some exemptions, and there's some assets that are actually exempt from certain creditors. So it would be a really good idea to know what type of assets it is that you should continue to invest into that will not be subject to any lawsuits or creditors. So just by way of example, California has a homestead. You might find yourself filing a homestead to protect a little bit of the equity that you have in your home. So there's all these little tips and tricks that we could do to kind of protect you from a holistic approach. The third thing, or the third recommendation I have, is that if you're operating a private practice, or even if you're not for that matter, make sure that you're operating through a business entity, because that business entity, whether it's a corporation or an LLC, is actually going to provide you with yet another layer of liability protection. So make sure that you're consulting with an attorney about which one might be the right one for you, and make sure that all of these interests combined with an estate plan are designed for a license holder in the medical industry in mind. Again, as a license holder in the state of California, there are certain obligations that you have when you are doing your estate plan, and if it's planned incorrectly, it might jeopardize your practice and the value of it when transferred to your loved ones, if at all possible. So make sure that you're doing it correctly and that you're putting together a comprehensive estate plan that's designed for you and your profession. So feel free to contact my office. I do provide free consultations, so we can sit down, talk about what it is that you need, and see if we could put together a plan that might work to your benefit for not only asset protection purposes, but also to make sure that all of the hard work that you're doing to amass the wealth that you're amassing will actually transfer into the next generation, and we can move that wealth onto your loved ones. So contact our office and schedule a free consultation.